Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert. Do your own research. Today I just wanted to review how long we think the bear market will last. I honestly have no idea. I'm just going to really look at some previous bear markets that Bitcoin has had, and also include some of the overall accumulation time periods and how long that took. So this was obviously back in 2013, where we saw a run up from like $100 to $1,000 and more, and this was an incredible time. I wasn't around for it, but Bitcoin as a whole was just like highly volatile and still is. However, there are always going to be bear markets in crypto due to the volatility and just, what type of an asset it is. And let's take a look at some of the overall durations of the overall bear markets. What am I looking at here? What am I doing here? Sorry, I'm an idiot. Okay, so we'll denote this bear market by this wick set in November 2013. And I think you denote the overall accumulation period too, which was this $150 to $300 range. And then you go when price starts to escape that range. So overall, including the accumulation period, this is about 700 days. And from just purely the overall bear market, you would probably denote it as from top to bottom about 400 days-ish. And then the accumulation period started. So what do I mean by accumulation? I mean that price chopped around for several weeks, months after the overall bottom was found. And that's pretty common to see that type of overall price action after big moves. You generally see, the long grind down, lower highs, lower lows, maybe one last final capitulation sweep, and then you see a long accumulation period after that. That's very common. This is type of very common price action. This is what we'll take a look at 2018 as well. But if you include everything from the start of the bear market all the way to kind of the accumulation period, this is a 700-day period, 2 full years until there's an officially a bull market. And generally speaking, you can also denote it with volume. This was heavy volume back in 2015, and this was the start, of the big move from $200 all the way higher. Funny little anecdote. This is about when I got into Bitcoin, was around $500 or so, back in like early-ish 2016, kind of April to June of 2016 is when I started to buy Bitcoin, around $500 to $600. Anyways, okay, so that was back in 2013 to 2015. Let's take a look at the most recent bear market that we can denote back in 2018. So this was my first bear market officially, and from the start of this all the way to accumulation, the end of accumulation was about 400 days. Let's first mark it at, this is like the bottom of the bull, was about about a year, 330 days or so, where the bear market was officially kind of, I would say, this is where the bear market ended, and then the accumulation period started. So, this range from 4K to like 3K. This was the accumulation cycle that lasted several months. This, was a 120 days, so several month, 4-month period, or 3-month period, or whatever, 4-month period, where price chopped around, did a whole lot of nothing, and then expanded all the way up from 3K to 14K. So all things considered, as I said, about 400-ish days, 460, 70 days or so, for the last bear market in 2018, 2019. Now, it's debatable what type of bear market this would have looked like back in 2020. Clearly, we had the COVID black swan where price went from, 11K or so, 10K to 3.5K. And this was a very nasty time period. I remember that day. That was very fucking scary overall. And it's uncertain what price would have looked like without COVID. So, without COVID, I don't think we would have had this massive dump. I don't believe it would have. I mean, equities were just dumping like a motherfucker. And also due to COVID, with all the free money printing, we would not have had this V-shaped reversal. We had this V-shaped reversal, and much of 2020 was spent chopping around in accumulation mode where altcoins started going crazy. Bitcoin was just chopping around, not doing a whole lot. And then we obviously expanded hugely. But it's to be determined what this overall downtrend would have looked like. Generally speaking, we don't really see this V-shaped reversal. And I think it's probably going to be the only time we really see it, given like how much of a macro environment we were in. And it's uncertain that we see something like this again for a long time, if ever. Never say never, of course, but yeah. Okay, so we established, the previous bear market in 2015, 700 days or so. This last one in 2018, if you include the accumulation cycle, about 470 days. So where are we at now? There's a lot of debate whether you want to denote the overall bear market starting in kind of this April 2021 time period, or if you want to denote it in the November 2021 period. Personally, me speaking, I mean, even if you want to consider this kind of this double top, certainly valid. And, then at that point, you would probably just call the April of 2021 time period this was like the high. Then you would denote the bear market starting in April of 2021. Personally, I'm going to denote it in the all-time high levels in 2021 of November. And the reason is just that, yes, total crypto market cap, didn't raise significantly higher from April to November, but nonetheless, it still is the all-time high level, and this, in my opinion, still is the area that you should denote the overall bull market. Now, again, as I said, it's very subjective where you want to denote it, but for me, simply put, I'm going to denote it at the all-time high level. To me, that's the simplest explanation. Price is at the all-time high level. The end. That's just where it is to me. Now, you could maybe, as I said, there's lots of arguments for denoting it back in April of 2021. And if you do that, then things, things get a little bit easier in terms of overall calculation of the duration of the bear market. If you denote it back in April 2021, then you would look at 600 days of overall bear market. But in my opinion, this isn't really truly a bear market because, and I'll say that for a few reasons. Yes, most altcoins died, but there are certain select alts that still went 100x during this time period. You just had to learn how to trade, and you had to understand the overall narratives. Liquidity was certainly fragmented, and it was a game of hot potato. But generally speaking, in bear markets, you still don't see stuff going 100x, just because overall coins are just so fucked during that time period. Like if you look at the overall price action for pretty much every other altcoin in 2022. That is a true bear market. This is a true bear market that we're experiencing now, in my opinion, because everything is just dying cumulatively. Whereas in 2021, even if you denote the April 2021 as the kind of bear market starting, you still saw lots and lots of altcoins do really well. As I said, certain sectors really did great. Layer 1s, metaverse, gaming, all those types of coins really did super excellently. And you don't really generally see that in bear markets. So in my opinion, I'm going to denote this kind of high back in November 2021, the overall all-time high level at near 70K. That is the start of the bear market. And what we're seeing right now is about 400 days of overall chop. To be determined if we've seen the actual final shakeout period. One thing that you'll note back in 2018 and back in 2015 is that you saw this type of price action, where price goes up huge, starts to have the bear market lower highs, lower lows, and then it had that final capitulation. In 2018, it was famously the 6K level. Price bounced off the 6K level for a really long time, and then it went to 3K. That was the final capitulation wick. We arguably have not seen that quite yet. Now, do I think that we're probably going to hit that? Yeah, personally, that's what I'm personally viewing. I think that we're looking for this last capitulation wick. Overall, for Bitcoin, I'm waiting for, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if it's a 50% move from here. Certainly possible. It really is going to depend on a lot of factors given macro conditions. We did see a big player in FTX go under, which was obviously catastrophic and huge. But price really didn't move that much, relatively speaking. 25% or something? That's a joke in terms of overall Bitcoin bad days. We had like many, many worse days than that. So, it is possible that we see kind of like this last big move down, this last big flush down. I don't know, maybe it goes down to 10K. And then at that point, we hit another multi-month accumulation period. And maybe it's just going to be exactly like 2015. Maybe this stretches out for an entire 700 days or more. At the end of 2023 is when we really start to move. Certainly possible. This is an idea that I think a lot of people have. 2022 has spent much of the year just in a massive downtrend, and 2023 could just be spent in a massive accumulation chop cycle where price chops from anywhere from 10K all the way to 20K. That's certainly a possibility. And then obviously once macro starts to be better at that point, we would start to see expansion in the late 2023, early 2024 time period. What I'm trying to say get at with this video, I guess, is really just to prepare yourself for a potentially long bear market. If it's going to be like 2018, then we are almost at the end of it. As I said, 470 days worth if you include the actual accumulation period. That's like really not that far away. I mean, we're at 400 days-ish now. That's another 2 months. But in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that it's going to be a lot longer than that. And the reason is just simply that the macro environment back then in 2018 is much different than the macro environment today. So, I do believe that we're closer to the bottom than not. But I think from an overall time perspective, I think that it could be a lot longer. And I'm expecting lots of chop around for 2023. I believe that narratives will be, a game of hot potato. I believe there are some certain sectors that are going to really do well. But overall, I think that, it could just be a long time. So really try to preserve your capital. Try to learn as much as you can during this time period. But rest assured, I do believe that things are going to get better. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like, all-time high levels, like a big run-up, in a few years. But it's going to take a while. So just make sure that you keep owning your skills and just don't give up. Anyways, guys, good luck and stay safe out there.